Hey guys, it's ViewMasters Reactions, and we're back with some of the origin scenes from The Legend of Vox Machina. We're back again with Judgment Fish. I just watched, basically it was Master Yen and Archibald and the Tavern. The Tavern I might have seen, but the other two were the big important ones. This one is 20 minutes long, and it all deals with Stonefell. I feel like it not only introduces him, but basically shows all the interactions with Stonefell all the way through it to his death, is what I'm gathering, because it's a good 20 minutes long, and it looks like it all deals with Stonefell. No sense in talking about it. We know what happens in the show. Let's see what actually happens in this origin scene. The way Judgment Fish did the last video was they put up the episode scene first, so we know what happened there. I'll probably skip that. We're just gonna see what happens in the actual campaign itself. So here we go, guys. You guys want to see more of what I do, full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, and hundreds of exclusives only on Patreon. The link's at the end. If not, here we go. Some more origin scenes from The Legend of Vox Machina. Stonefell'S says hello. Percy picks the target.
It's okay. I think I figured out what we have to do first.
What do we have to do first?
I think we have to kill Kyrian Stonefell.
Kyrian
He's
Stonefell.
the one that everyone. He's the one managing all of the goods and all of the farming.
Is that who they were talking about today?
Yes.
The group?
Where
Kyrian.
is he at?
Oh, Securian. I thought they said something else.
Kyrian Stonefell.
Kyrian.
He's in one of the three. I would assume that he's been given one of the three mansions in town.
You think if we find him, kill him, and leave his body on some sort of public display, it would
Let's do
sow
it.
some seeds of
And like an uprising?
rebellion?
I think it would be the beginning. He's who everybody's afraid of.
See, but he has the inside scoop, right? They have no idea his name's on the gun at this
Did you do
point.
something nasty to his body?
Just say the word.
Oh, this is messed up.
All right.
Let
Check
Grog
the mansions for
do
me?
it. I mean, we know what
I
happened.
think
Well,
we ask around to see if there's a way to ask around to find out who's in what house.
I feel like this is how we found Anders.
Everyone and all of them.
Let's.
Oh god, it's getting loud.
Eventually, yes.
Hello, I'd like to share the news of our Lord and Savior. My axe in your face!
Oh my god.
We could be Mormons.
Yeah, I feel like when we were looking for surprise attack on Stonefell.
Seems to be a dangerous circumstance.
While they're talking, say, we've got two gentlemen up there.
I also read your comments. I get the ear thing. Walkie-talkies, people said. 100 feet, 150 something paces.
Grog up first.
Places, everyone, places.
Grog up before me, and then I go right after Grog.
I'm so excited.
Send
Listen, this shit's getting real.
the Goliath.
That's good, that's good.
What's the plan?
I put my hand up in the air.
Rolos roll out.
And I click my boots together. Feel that adrenaline rush.
I rage.
I rage immediately.
And I kick the door so I go right in.
The door swings open, both of them, slamming under the sides of these two bookcases.
What's up?
I don't know if I've seen that, how they uncovered the room because they're in it now. That's pretty cool. All right, Stone. So Vax.
Wait, you see the older gentleman in his kind of long robes immediately spin his head and see essentially a troop of armed villagers, peasants, dirty faces come rushing in, all fucked up eyes and all.
He said long robes, different look.
Rushing into the room. They both turn looking completely caught off guard by this. You do also see in the room there are a few guards that are just kind of waiting off to the side. There's a couch area, there's a fireplace.
Clean
So,
house.
first surprise round from all of you guys catching them off guard. Up first is Percy.
I'm gonna pull into that corner right there,
Over here.
and I'm gonna take 2 shots at that soldier in the corner, at that guard.
One shot off, the blast rings out. As you fire the pepper box, like, it misfires, and you quickly turn around, throw one of your tools in the air, catch it, and with one swift movement, you unblock the passageway, click it back up into its place, and at the corner of your eye, you turn, and for the first time in 5 years, you see, standing behind the desk,
Stonefell.
Sir Kyrian Stonefell. And the moment you see him, there's just this boiling rage from within, just to have that moment of sight.
If you're lucky, you die last.
Grog, you're up.
I hear him say that he has to die last. in my rage, I race forward to that fuck in the middle of the room, and I swing my firebrand warhammer at him twice. Yeah, that misses.
That definitely misses. As you
All right.
it just ducks out of the way.
They rolled
and
bad or
your shoulder,
something.
You reacted pretty quickly, and your weapon just poof, slams into the ground, splintering some of the wood. You peel back for a second attack.
That makes me even angrier.
Oh, Jesus.
27.
7 points of damage. As he ducks out of the way, you bring up the hammer a second time and whack, smack him right square in the chest. The wind escapes him for a moment, and the flames lick across the front of his chest. He catches himself on the.
I wish it had his info. Stonefell's like
Back on
stats.
his feet. Looks at you for a second, pulls out 2.
I guess you shouldn't be allowed to know.
Best thing you could have ever done.
Oh, man's got game.
Don't know who you are, but you're gonna regret this. But in theory, it is a surprise round, so you may have had advantage in that first strike. So go ahead and roll it. Remembering that.
Oh, that really hit.
32.
32.
Sweet.
What's a bonus
Slams
round?
him a second
When
time,
do you
he
get a
almost
bonus
5 seconds.
round?
The actual end table he's resting on shatters beneath him, and he has to get back up onto his feet and is looking genuinely fearful now. That ends your turn.
Dropped your toothpicks.
Scanlan, you're up.
And then I'll look at the guard behind and to the right of the big guy, and I'll dominate him. Yes, I pull up my hand.
And I'll dominate
and
him.
I say, "You're as cold as ice."
Oh, I love that song.
Willing to sacrifice your boss. And so I tell him to kill his boss.
He is currently dominated by Scanlan. All right, good to know. He
Well, I
pulls
love
his
that song. It's one of my
loads
oldies
it,
but
and
goodies.
aims it towards you. Looks over his shoulder for a second. Trains it on his boss. Yes. Keyleth, Vax, and Vax.
I don't know
take
if that
surprise
happened
round
in
now.
the
Okay, I
episode.
wanna go in and peek my head in and shoot. First, I'm gonna shoot from my longbow of Sky Sentinel,
Double arrow? Was that the
and I'm
scene?
gonna use it like turns into 3 arrows. For
Yeah,
one of my
it- or
attacks, so
3.
it's like 3 more attacks potentially.
Well, it's 2 additional attacks against the one arrow. So you get 4 attacks in 1 round essentially.
Good God.
Gotcha. So your arrows split, 2 of them end up embedding into the actual desk itself and exploding with a burst of electricity. A third one strikes him in the chest, and you can see it kind of stick in the armor and jolt him for a second. He kind of backs up a little bit, catching himself at the edge of the desk as the final arrow comes and strikes him in the shoulder. He cuts off the shaft of the arrow as it hits, just out of anger and frustration.
Totally shit the bed on that one, guys, and I apologize.
So I just run right towards the desk. I
I totally
step
shit
against
the
desk,
bed.
leap up into the air and come down and go fukunk into his shoulders.
Right there.
Yeah, right. I'm.
They are just going full on
It's
assault.
81.
Yep. 81 points of damage. 1 out of
Wow.
As you land on the desk, your daggers just bypass the armor. They find their way through the armor
81.
and sink past the clavicles into the deep portion of the chest. He, from the impact, and you hear him choke, and blood spatters up from his throat. He reaches up and grabs your hands and lifts them off out of the wound. You can see just a gout of blood pour from the wound as you reach back and stab him a 3rd time with the dagger as you catch yourself on the back of the desk. He reaches up and kicks you, forcing you to kind of get back on your feet with your daggers at the ready. The blood's beginning to pour. It's not a mortal wound, but it's looking really bad.
I
for
mean,
him. He's not
81. That's a
on death's
high
door,
hit.
But that definitely took him down a few pegs.
I give him a Vex wink.
Keyleth, what are you doing?
Alright, I'm gonna do some fun shit. I am gonna go and turn into a dire wolf this time, mixing it up from Minxie.
6 points piercing damage.
Is Minxie the giant cat thing we see?
Falls on the ground. That ends the surprise round. Now we're at the top again. Percy, you're up.
I'm gonna shoot that.
So they
guard
are
one
editing
more
this
time.
up a lot.
Points of damage. All right. You fire. There's a burst of flame that gouts out beside the pepper box, blasting into the chest of the guard off to the side. He's thrown against the wall from the sheer force of it. Reaches down and grabs his chest and looks at it. You can see there's like red crimson across his hand as you've actually blown a piece of his leather armor open, and you can see the wound in his chest. He just looks angry at you.
Looks angry.
21 points of damage.
Shooting him again.
You blast him this time on the other side of the shoulder. You can see now this armor is now torn open, exposing the wound here, and his arm's now hanging to one side. He's looking in severe pain and
I think this guy's
barely hanging on at this point.
close to done. Yeah.
Damn it! Shooting him again.
8 points of damage.
Is that enough?
All right, this final one is he's like looking at something. Angry looks at you, picks his crossbow up and aims it at you. Before he gets a chance to, you aim your 3rd shot, firing, hitting him right in the center of the head. blasting out part of his face. His body spins, and he falls over into the plant in the corner. Just kind of.
I feel like
I finished walking.
that might have happened.
Like almost into the corner over there, right next to him, like about there. Spend an action surge, taking 3 more shots at Kyrian. 4 points of damage plus a point of ice damage, so 25 points of damage.
Plus an additional d6 points of damage with that.
Yay!
Yay!
He's an asshole. That's 6 more points of damage.
So, as you go around and fire from the barrel, the shot fires out, and as you recoil, you guys, for those who are noticing up the side, this dark smoke's beginning to slowly pour out of Percy's eyes
yes.
and ears, and the hand on the gun. There's just this black.
Oh, they don't know. That's right. They don't know yet.
The gun arm.
What?
They don't know Stonefell'S one of the people.
Those who are paying attention, which right now would be pretty much just Scanlan and Vex. Grox too.
Weird.
I'm gonna take a quick reload.
Okay.
Yeah, because his line of sight. They're talking who notices.
I'm going to do a headshot. Natural 20.
The golden snitch strikes again.
Yeah, you did. I can see it from here.
But
42 points of damage.
The first blast hits, and you can see the cloak is blown off the shoulder and set aflame. And just kind of burns and cinders in the corner. Sir Carrion looks down and is like, ugh.
I love how they hyped up the
Turns like
music
looking very,
in the
very
background.
furiously. The second shot rings out, and at this point now, like, the smoke is wreathing your entire arm. The gun isn't even visible. It's just this giant column of smoke. The second shot rings out, this time hitting him in the side of the neck and the shoulder, blowing a chunk off of it. It's part of the bone is now sticking out. It reaches back with his arm and is like with the rapier up, kind of clutching it for a second. It leans over and just looks back over. Ripley.
Just as an action,
Ripley.
as a bonus action, I'm going to remove my hat and I'm going to ask. I'm just going to say, drop it.
Oh,
After
Ripley.
He thinks it's Ripley. He thinks it's Ripley with the gun.
Oh.
Ripley's building guns.
Ripley that's doing the gun.
Fucking Ripley.
Since currently the circumstance is going to move this way. Just
Did he do that in the show? Because I didn't catch that. Because later on we find out Ripley is alive. Or
I'm just going to do a flurry of 4 strikes against you.
Okay.
14 on the 4th attack. With disadvantage, just swinging wide. It gets one hit on you.
Dude, that cloud will be working.
Yeah. Uncanny dodge on that attack.
That is 8 points of piercing damage against you.
So 4.
Ooh.
He's actually going to take a step back towards the wall. You get an attack opportunity.
Yeah. All right. I throw a dagger in his face.
All right.
8 points of damage.
Alrighty. Steps back and slams his fist against the wall.
Oh no, oh no.
So that ends Karen's turn. Grog, you're up.
I keep smashing shithead that's in front of me.
Okay, go for it.
his voice is so aggressive and louder than the rest.
Gotcha. Wow! Just with the fire damage as well from the hammer?
Yes.
Yeah. So the hammer strikes across the back, the broadside of his shoulders and back. Looks up at you, looks over at Sir Carrion, just being annihilated behind the desk. Second strike smacks him upside his body, and is like, and he's just trying to take in the surroundings and figure out some sort of plan. It is now Master Vox.
So they have only got one guard down so far, right?
It is his turn. Actually, instead, is not going to use a bonus action to disengage. Is going to use a bonus action to use Misty Step.
Misty Step.
Vanishes, reappears.
Oh, this is when he was shimmying around the room.
Action to cast a level 3 invisibility on both him and
The guards?
Sir Carrion Stonefell. So they are both considered invisible at the moment. Now it becomes Scanlan's turn.
Ah.
Well, I can't see anyone who's alive, who I haven't dominated already. I will remind all my fellows to keep one alive, to spread our terrorist message, and I will run out to the hallway and say, Vex, get inside. And because I know reinforcements are coming, I cast Stinking Cloud out into the hallways.
Okay.
Badass.
Okay.
That's not a bad play.
Comes in the room.
Eliminate anybody
So,
sneaking
see
up
how
on
it
you. Hey, I mean, that whole room could light up with guards.
And I will inspire her as well.
Inspire.
Vex be nimble, Vex be quick. Vex jump on the limbo stick. Now you don't
The
know
limbo
how you're
rock.
gonna react because Vex has an attack. Oi!
Alright, so I go in the room.
I think people have told me in the comments, I believe Sam just does that because he wants to. I don't think he is
And then I
required.
do lightning
I like it.
arrow because that gets everything within 10 feet.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast a lightning arrow on the soldier on the ground. 19 to little prone soldier,
Okay, 19.
and then
As it snaps him and then bursts, the electricity kind of shockwaves out, and he shakes on the ground, the taser effect. Okay, so 1 damage to you,
oh, good.
That's great.
and 1 damage to Sir Kieran. That ends your turn, Vax.
So hearing him go "Grr," and seeing a spark right in front of me, I just start knifing at that point. Terrible. That's also terrible. Oh, I hit.
No.
Oh, I just went whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
You swing in the area, and you just can't get the blades to find any of his specific person. Keyleth.
Looking up and noticing that
This is a long ass
is
battle.
on and Vax is blindly stabbing into the distance. I'm gonna drop my wolf form and cast Fairy Fire in that.
So even in form,
Both
she
your
could
forms all of a
cast
sudden are
spells?
outlined by the sparkling purple halo that shows you directly where they are.
Yes.
Awesome.
I don't know if I've seen that in episode yet. If she's casted while in a form of an
An
animal.
invisible form
Or
that
whatever.
just got revealed swings out at you with a rapier.
Yeah,
As an attack of opportunity.
Whatever.
Yeah.
15.
Miss.
Yep. So whoosh, as you back up. This guard gets up, gets his crossbow, aims it up, and looking around the room, seeing his friend turn on his boss briefly after you shouted that song at him, he's gonna turn the crossbow on you.
On me?
Yes. As it comes towards you, you just kind of duck out of the way. And it passes and snags into the wall behind you.
I like
I'm
that.
then going to drop the crossbow on the ground and rushing up, pull out a mace that was hanging from the side of its belt and engage you right there. This guy is going to attempt to make 2 attacks against Master Vox has advantage on them because Fairy Fire. That hits.
Wait, who's
Guy
this?
that he's
The guy
attacking.
you
Guy that
charmed.
you
That's not my guy. That's not my guy.
Yeah.
Man.
This
Oh,
guy
that
is.
guy is. Yeah. Oh wait, he's attacking my guy.
No, he's attacking.
Oh, that's great.
You guys, yeah. Doing a total of.
This is a long ass. Now I understand how long these things could take.
Thug's turn, top of the round. Percy, you're up.
Sharpshooter against Kyrian. 15 points of damage.
15. You see one blast hits the wall and causes the part of the wood to splinter outward. The second shot impacts the partially invisible form. You can see a splash of blood across the desk in front, partially spattering across Vax and one of his guards.
Yeah, but taking the 3rd shot with
Alright.
ice. Natural 20.
What?
That's 2 in this one battle.
Percy rolls. Percy rolls. Percy rolls.
It's making up for my gun failing like 4 times.
Whatever you
That's
possessed,
true, it did.
Voldemort, just
I
do
know.
it.
31 points of damage with 4 points of that being ice damage.
Okay. So Percy, how do you want?
Oh, how do you want to do this?
You said that weird.
Someone's. Oh, but he did say it weird.
This is important. This is
And Sir Kieran,
important.
this is
Oh.
the smoke is pushing you. Vengeance, 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 repeatedly echoing in the back of your mind. How do you want to do this?
I love
I'm gonna
that they
put
have
on the mask
no
since I'm
clue.
still under. He still doesn't know who I am.
Okay. You pull the mask down. The bird-peaked element of the mask now wreathed in smoke, resembling very closely the entity that made the original bargain with you.
I'm going to walk up to him. I'm going to take one last shot. I'm going to look right at him. I'm going to catch his eye. This is for the Drolos. And let me say, you were the one I was least looking forward to.
Oh, that's some cold shit.
With that, the little bit of wreathed magical energy, you can barely make out an expression of horror on the face before the resounding blast sound rocks the room. The actual bullet itself, a trail of black smoke behind it as it impacts the front of Sir Kirian's face. The entirety of his head caving inward while the back just splatters across. The the scarred wooden wall behind him. The body just slumps to the ground immediately. You guys all go.
He went out the window
at
in the
Percy.
show.
You don't even see Percy. You just see a humanoid entity made of black, swirling smoke energy, with the peaked beak of his mask poking through.
Look at Keelan.
Kind of recoil from it, and just the voice echoes in the back of your head, going,
I'm going to drop the gun,
you drop it,
remove my mask, run to find something metal, something sharp anywhere on the table, and just start scratching off the name of the gun, and just like I'm gonna just go to a corner and just start scratching the name off.
Okay.
So they're finding out the name was
Once
on the gun.
there's a good gash in the name, I'm just going to sit down and breathe.
See, he scraped it out though. In the show, it just
side of the metal and start
vanishes.
you can see the name itself begin to glow with this
Oh.
purple glow and burn away from the metal, leaving just the scratch marks.
So he didn't have to do that. All right, guys, very cool. That was so long. If anything, that was the perfect example for what I was talking about in one of the other episodes, how people told me if you really wrap up a campaign, you could do like a 20-minute campaign scene in like 20 seconds of an actual animation. That was a perfect example of it, because just them having to say what they want to do and having Matt express the way the interactions cause and effect had on everybody and stuff like that. So much time goes by, where in the actual episode, that was probably maybe 5 minutes of actual animation. The whole thing with Stonefell was pretty much summed up in one 22-minute episode, and half of that was building to it. So it couldn't have been more than a 5 to 10 minute scene dealing with Stonefell. And right there, it was a good 20 minutes, and that was even edited up so that we could kind of go through it quicker. They were skipping a lot of the roles. There was a lot of things you could see that were passed by. Some of them were instantly saying like, all right, well, I guess I missed. We didn't see their roles. They did enough to get the point and to see what was going on, and basically just edited out the stuff we didn't need to see, which is done quite well. I still really like the format that Judgment Fish uses. The original video will be in the description below, but this entire video was Stonefell. Changed him up a little bit. He seemed to be not as short and stout as he looked in the actual show here. I got the image in front of me. He seemed to be in robes, maybe more slender, older. He was shot in the same fashion, though. At the end there, they showed he was shot in the clavicle, and then he blasted him like 10 times, blew all his fingers off, and then shot him in the face. In the actual campaign reaction, I said, didn't he fall out the window? He didn't fall out the window. That was Anders. I'm thinking of Anders. Anders was popped in the face and then blown off the balcony. So Stonefell died pretty much like he did here, except I feel like the vengeance, the smoke, was more aggressive and more scary in Matt's version. Matt, it was like there's a humanoid thing standing in front of you and it's just smoke and all you hear is vengeance, vengeance, vengeance. They definitely convey the dark smoke much more supernatural and violent in the campaign. I guess they could, but I mean, you could do a whole lot with animation too. I almost feel like they're trying to make the smoke not as powerful in the show, being as they've got to sum all this up in the next 3 episodes. I'm assuming they're summing all this up in the next 3 episodes, episode 10, 11, and 12, because this is the Briarwood arc. I feel like this is Percy's story. I feel like if you went into season 2, you're giving too much to Percy. So my guess is, being as we've already killed Stonefell and Anders, and we just found out Ripley's in prison, in this, they just showed us that Stonefell, when Percy removed his mask, assumed it was Ripley, leading us to believe that Ripley is an enemy. In the show, they didn't do that, which was actually preferred in my case, because had he said that in the show, I would have immediately been like, oh, well then Ripley's not our enemy, and I would have been like, holy crap, there's Ripley, okay, no big deal. But in the end of episode 9, they reveal that Ripley's alive, and you might not realize it or know it. You might not even know it right now. I might have just told you. But they never confirmed that. She just kind of like came out, and I was like, oh my god, it's Ripley. They never said her name, but it's gotta be Ripley. I mean, it might not be, but you know it's Ripley. So in this, he kind of hinted to us that Ripley was alive and thought Percy was Ripley. They must have gender swapped Ripley then, because if he thought Percy was Ripley, that means Ripley's a dude. We already saw they gender swapped Master Yenin. We also saw they dwarf human swapped Archie, and they also made him from an old man into a young man. So they're doing lots of things like that. But hey, I kind of like the choices they've made. They've made the choices they did for a reason. Like Archie had to be young to fight the battle he did and die the way he did. And Stonefeld, I feel like, looked better this way. I feel like in the campaign, you might have too many slender old man wizard looking dudes just because. So it's nice they change it up. Like, this is an interesting looking dude. He reminds me, I said it during the episode, of some DC villain or something. He looks like he's got rock skin and the toad short looking, like dark skin look. I don't know. He reminds me of somebody and I don't know who. Maybe like almost kind of like Kingpin, but I know that's Marvel, but is somebody like him? I don't know. I love the look. I love the choices. You guys let me know what you think. I'm jumping into one more video today. It's from Arsqueef and it's called Pike Goes Nuclear. You guys want to see more of what I do, full unedited reactions, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, and hundreds of exclusives you'll only see on Patreon. The link is in front of me. If not, comments down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.